So I'm here with Yogi Jaz, speaker for the
Hi.
Mastermind.Yoga Summit 2020. And her topic of discussion is purposeful positioning. People, they follow your movement, they see your presence online and they see this package that you created for yourself. And they're like, oh my God, she's so awesome. How did she get to that space? So what are some of the tools and processes that you use to connect with your niche in the yoga and wellness space? And, what were some of the things that you did to navigate getting to your business model?
So the main concept is the inside out instead of outside in. And when you're looking at someone else's platform, if you're looking at the different niches that are available in yoga and you're trying to make yourself fit in one of those boxes, which this is the traditional programming that we have as far as careers. Like, these are your options in college, pick one. These are your options to make money professionally, pick one. And instead of doing that with this, we have the opportunity to go within and find out what is my most authentic, genuine, most powerful offering, and shape that into your offering as a wellness practitioner.
I like what you said earlier when you kind of you made a parallel back to like your childhood experience in terms of, you started working in corporate and you kind of forgot some of the things that you were attached to as a young
Yes.
person, like dancing. And then you
Yes.
said something that I wrote down in terms of not shrinking yourself. Like, you could do anything, you could be anything that you want. So tell me, from your perspective, how important it is do you think it is to kind of return back to yourself in a way to return back to those core foundational things that kind of gave you passion and joy when you were younger?
So we have to remember, like, when you come here, you're pure and you're authentic in yourself. And then you get influenced and you get your fire burned out. I mean, people splash water on it and make you more practical as you get older. So we're talking about the lesson when you're young. People are like, you can do anything you want to do when you grow up. And as you grow up, they're telling you that you need to be practical and figure out a job and settle down. And returning to the self, the whole journey of like high school age, college age, spiritual awakening is you coming back to who you actually originally were. So for me, me finding yoga was just me feeling too grown and too corporate and too just outside of myself. And I was like, I've danced and I've practiced and I've played my entire childhood. And I just wanted to bring that back in and feel myself in that way again. And going into acro yoga, literally playing as a grown person and having a blast, getting down on a mat, felt so good. And it just continued on. When you take those little breadcrumbs in life and just keep moving, just letting yourself feel, what do I feel connected to next? And you don't have to know the end result. You don't have to have a 5 or 10 year plan. But just committing to alignment, like what feels more like me. And here we are at yoga.
That is so beautiful, connecting to alignment. And that's what purposeful positioning is then in definition, is just understanding who you are authentically and using that to cascade your purpose and offering to the community. So that's beautiful, because like for me, as I was stating, connecting to that child or returning to self, I was a nerd. I'm Geek Squad, you know what I mean? And that's something that I kind of shedded for my personal reasons. I wanted to belong, I wanted to fit in, but coming back and returning back to myself during this pandemic, I'm finding so much joy in reading all of these books, and like, I'm finding like ancient yogic philosophy texts, and I'm immersing myself into that, and it's unlocking so much in my mind. So on that thread, everything, things resonate differently per yogi. You like to dance and like to move. Me, I'm more, I guess, jhana in nature, where I seek knowledge. I'm a seeker of information and knowledge. And I think that oftentimes when yogis are trying to, put themselves into this space, I have to find a niche. I need a niche. What is my niche? And they get on this path of like, I got to find this thing. I got to find this thing to make me a yogi, to make me relevant. So what advice would you give to people who are looking for that yogic path in that niche? Should they be focused so heavily on that? Or what's the best advice with coming into yourself and finding that and building a new business model with it?
So one thing that's been coming up pretty often in different conversations that I've had is like people run away from the box by getting into another box.
Mm.
You are leaving society in the structure of like, I need to be a doctor, a lawyer, a whatever, to go run to yoga because that feels more free. It feels more expansive. And then you get into yoga and you're like, okay, I need to find a niche. Where's my spot? Where's my people? Where's my thing? And the thing is to not be in a box, to be fluid, to flow, to expand, to shed. Me as a practitioner, I have transformed and twisted and given so many different types of offerings, and I feel very comfortable shedding. I think something that we kind of shame as a society because people feel like you don't know what you're doing, or you're not stable, or you're not, whatever these words are, if you're not consistently doing the same thing from start to death or retirement or whatever. And that I feel like is a missed opportunity and a misinterpretation of expansion and being fluid. So I think that, understanding yourself and understanding your best offering, it's more about that than let me find this specific area to market. And everything is just inward. Like, you do the work, you connect, it literally attracts to you. You don't have to go find the box and go find the people to put in it. It's so much more effortless, and I can't stress this enough. And it's mind-blowing because it's such a simple concept, but it is the most challenging thing to us based on the programming. And it takes the most practice because you can fall out of practice so easily. But it is less work to just be, to connect with yourself, just be, allow things to flow to you. And like I said, my niche title as far as Tantra was gifted to me because I was just worried about what gift am I being given to re-give.
You had mentioned earlier, like the main goal of your teaching is to connect people to oneness, to divinity, creating that collective. So I think for you, that was essentially your why, and just everything that you did as a yoga practitioner, as a yoga entrepreneur, was layered on top of that. So last question, how would you suggest then, maybe just give like maybe 3 quick tips, because you talked about resources and tools that could be used to kind of return to self. You personally, like, what are some things that you do to return to self, or some things that you do to teach people how to get on that path of kind of connecting with themselves more inwardly?
Being by myself. You'd be surprised how many people are uncomfortable being alone, and being alone is going to be just the tool that I say. And the way that you do that, there's a million ways to do that. Taking yourself on dates and truly enjoying your own company is powerful. And people get so uncomfortable. I would never go out to eat alone. I don't want to look, whatever. And just even saying those things lets you know that there's so many opportunities for you to really get with you and to release the things that don't matter. Who cares if somebody notices that you came alone?
Yeah. Why do we care?
And why do we think being alone means you have no friends or you have no life or whatever? And even if you didn't, that's okay too. It's mind-blowing. Sitting in silence, practicing things or pouring into myself, practicing music, language, dance, art, anything that I feel like just develops me as a human. That's probably my favorite thing to do. Self-care, really putting time into your body on every level, especially physically grounding yourself, because we're so mind over matter in this society. It's really important to ground down even past yoga, because sometimes with yoga, you get stagnant in your practice. It gets stagnant. It becomes about ego. I really want to get this Instagram pose or whatever. So doing something else or something new to get you in your body. Connecting with yourself in so many ways.
Well, I just want to thank you for the time. Like, I really enjoy